Auckland's 180 megawatt residential solar network just became the largest distributed energy hub in New Zealand. And here's what nobody saw coming. It's happening at exactly the same time EV sales are smashing records. March 2026 saw 3,100 electric vehicle registrations nationwide, with Auckland leading the charge. But that's only half the story. The average new solar installation in New Zealand is now 7.9 kilowatts, almost double what it was 3 years ago. And the reason for that jump? EV owners are supersizing their solar systems to charge their cars for free. We're watching Auckland homeowners execute the full energy divorce, dumping the grid, dumping the petrol pump, and taking control of both their transport and their electricity in a single coordinated move. Let's walk through what's happening across Auckland's residential market. New Zealand's total solar capacity hit 855 megawatts of distributed installations by January 2026. Auckland alone accounts for 180 megawatts, roughly 21% of the national residential base. The average residential system size jumped to 7.9 kilowatts, up from 4.9 kilowatts 2 years ago. That's a 60% increase. The standard 3 kilowatt systems that dominated 2019 are basically extinct. Homeowners now spec 6 to 8 kilowatt arrays as baseline. Why the jump? Panel costs have stabilized while efficiency keeps climbing. Panels now top 22% efficiency. But the real driver is integration. Homeowners aren't just buying solar for their house anymore. They're sizing systems to cover EV charging. Here's the equation. An average EV needs 3,000 to 4,000 kilowatt hours annually. That translates to roughly 2.4 to 3.2 kilowatts of additional solar capacity. So if your household ran on a 4 kilowatt system, adding an EV pushes you into the 6.5 to 7.5 kilowatt range. That's exactly what the data shows. The government fast-tracked consents. New homes with solar get building consent in 10 working days instead of 20, saving $400 per day. And the voltage range for networks expanded from plus or minus 6% to 10%, allowing more solar to flow back without voltage violations. Now let's talk about who's making this switch and how the economics are stacking up. Auckland homeowners installing solar in 2026 are looking at $12,000 to $18,000 for a premium 6 to 8 kilowatt system with integrated EV charging capability. That's the all-in price. Panels, inverter, installation, and an EV charger like the Fronius Watt Pilot or similar smart unit. But here's where the financing shift matters. Major banks, ANZ, BNZ, Westpac, now offer green home loans at 0% to 1% interest. That changes the calculation entirely. Instead of needing $15,000 upfront, homeowners are rolling solar and EV charger costs into their mortgage or taking a dedicated green loan. Monthly repayments often come in lower than what they were previously paying in combined power bills and fuel costs. Real example from an Auckland installer. A family in MT Eden with a 7.1 kilowatt system and Watt Pilot EV charger went from a monthly power bill averaging $180 in fuel costs around $300 to a solar loan repayment of $220 per month. They're now charging their EV for free during the day and exporting excess power back to the grid for credits. First bill after installation, $40. That's $118 in usage minus $78 in feed-in credits. They're saving over $400 per month. The battery adoption layer is smaller, but growing fast. Around 15% of solar households now have battery storage, and that figure's climbing as battery prices soften. Home batteries let you store daytime solar generation for evening use, which is when electricity prices spike. Vector's 21% line charge increase hit Auckland households hard, making stored solar power even more valuable during peak periods. Vehicle-to-home technology is emerging as an alternative. Instead of buying a separate home battery, some EV owners are installing bidirectional chargers that let the car battery power the house during outages or evening peaks. A typical EV battery holds 60 to 75 kilowatt hours, far larger than most home batteries. Brands like Wallbox and Delta offer V2H units, with full Auckland installations running around $7,000 to $9,000 for the charger, switchboard upgrades, and auto transfer switch. It's a premium over standard charging, but you're essentially getting a massive home battery you can also drive. The property market's starting to price this in. Real estate agents report that Auckland buyers are now inspecting garages for two things: high-amp electrical capacity for EV charging and roof orientation for solar potential. A north-facing roof with minimal shading and a garage with 240-volt circuits ready for a Level 2 charger is becoming the 2026 equivalent of renovated kitchens in 2015, a genuine value add that influences offers. One agent in Rurik said homes with existing solar installations are fielding questions about system size, warranty terms, and whether the inverter can handle EV charging before buyers even tour the property. The assumption is shifting. Solar isn't exotic anymore. It's infrastructure. Not having it raises questions about future power bills and whether the roof can handle retrofitting. Here's the mindset shift that's driving this. Auckland homeowners aren't making individual decisions about solar or EVs anymore. They're making one integrated energy decision. The question isn't, should I get solar or should I buy an EV? It's, how do I eliminate my exposure to both electricity price increases and fuel volatility in a single move? That integrated thinking shows up in how installations are sequenced. Some buyers purchase the EV first, realize charging costs are adding $50 to $80 per month to their power bill, and immediately spec solar to offset it. Others install solar, see they're exporting excess power during the day for minimal feed-in credits, and decide to buy an EV to capture that value through free charging instead. Either path leads to the same endpoint: full home and transport electrification within a 5 to 7 year window for a growing segment of homeowners. This is not financial advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making any property or investment decisions. So what are Auckland homeowners weighing? Let's break down the decision pathways. First, the full system install. Solar array, EV charger, and either a home battery or V2H capable EV. Typical profile is dual income family in a detached home with good roof access. Financing through green loans at 0% to 1%, treating this as a 20 to 25 year infrastructure investment. Payback sits around 7 to 9 years. But green loan structures mean monthly outgoings can be neutral from month one when you factor in eliminated power and fuel costs. Property value uplift matters. Auckland homes with solar and EV infrastructure are commanding measurable premiums. Second, staged rollout. Install solar now, add EV later. Or buy the EV, add solar when finances allow. This reduces upfront capital and lets homeowners test one system first. Key is future-proofing. Spec the solar inverter to handle EV charging even if you're not installing the charger yet. Third, minimalist solar to EV. Smaller system, no battery, one EV, smart scheduling. Charge during peak solar production, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and run appliances during the day. Lower capital, simpler to manage. Limitation is you're not resilient to outages and still buy some grid power at night. Fourth, grid arbitrage. Pair solar with time-of-use tariffs and smart energy management. Generate during the day. Export excess. Charge EV on cheap overnight off-peak power. Use battery or V2H to cover evening peaks. Requires active management but can push total energy costs near zero. Fifth, rent-to-own models. Companies like Solar Zero offer leases with no upfront cost. You pay monthly fees lower than previous power bills. Trade-off is you don't capture long-term asset value. So where does this trend go from here? What's likely to unfold over the next 12 to 18 months? First, watch Auckland's grid constraints. Vector and other distributors have imposed moratoriums in some areas where rooftop solar penetration has saturated local transformers. That causes voltage issues and can slow new approvals. The government's voltage range expansion buys time, but network reinforcement takes 18 to 24 months. If solar adoption keeps accelerating, we could see localized slowdowns in certain suburbs until infrastructure catches up. The flip side is that grid-scale solar farms are coming online to relieve pressure. Contact Energy's Kauai Park Farm and Genesis's Foxton project are both expected operational in 2026, adding hundreds of megawatts to the system. That stabilizes wholesale prices and reduces the pressure on residential networks. Second signal, EV solar package deals. Right now, homeowners coordinate solar and EV purchases separately. But bundled offerings are emerging. Buy a BYD Atto 3, get a discount on a partnered solar installation. Or finance, both through a single green loan product structured around total energy independence rather than individual purchases. If those packages gain traction, adoption could accelerate faster than current projections. Third, the battery storage tipping point. Home batteries are currently around 15% of solar installations, but that's climbing. As prices drop below $1,000 per kilowatt hour and warranties extend, the case strengthens. And if feed-in tariffs keep declining, which they are as network solar saturation increases, the value proposition shifts from exporting power to storing it. That makes batteries and V2H more economical than they were even 12 months ago. Let me pull this together. 3 key takeaways. 1. Auckland's residential solar capacity is now 180 megawatts and growing exponentially. The average system size has jumped to 7.9 kilowatts because homeowners are sizing for EV charging, not just household electricity. We're past the early adopter phase. This is mainstream infrastructure planning. 2. The solar EV combination is no longer a niche play. It's an integrated energy strategy driven by economics, not environmentalism. With green loans at 0% to 1% interest and monthly costs often lower than previous power and fuel bills, the financial case is closing. Property buyers are factoring solar and EV infrastructure into valuations, which signals this shift has permanence. 3. The staged rollout dominates. Most Auckland households aren't going from zero to full electrification overnight. They're installing solar first, then adding the EV. Or buying the EV, then adding solar to offset charging. The pathway matters less than the end point, and the end point is the same. Full home and transport electrification within a 5 to 7 year window for a growing segment of Auckland homeowners. If you're considering this switch, the questions to ask are practical, not philosophical. Does your roof orientation support solar? North-facing is ideal, but east-west splits work with optimizers. Can your garage electrical handle a level 2 charger? Most come with minor upgrades. And what's your timeline? If you're staying in the property for under 5 years, the economics tighten. If you're staying longer, the payback math gets compelling fast. For property investors and homeowners thinking about asset positioning, the infrastructure consideration is real. A home without solar capability or EV charging readiness in 2026 is starting to look like a home without fiber internet looked in 2015. Technically functional, but increasingly out of step with where the market's moving. The broader implication here is velocity. Auckland went from scattered solar installations to a 180 megawatt residential network in under a decade. EV sales jumped fourfold in a single month. When you layer those two trends on top of each other, you're watching an energy system transformation happening in fast forward. It's not gradual adoption, it's threshold breaching. Once enough households prove the model works financially, the next wave doesn't need convincing, they just need access to the same financing and installation capacity. If you found this useful, hit like and subscribe and drop a comment on what you're seeing in your suburb. Have solar quotes jumped in your area? Are your neighbors installing chargers? The ground level signals tell us where this is heading faster than official statistics can track. And look, whether power prices stabilize or keep climbing, whether fuel prices ease or stay elevated, Auckland homeowners have demonstrated they're willing to rewire their entire energy relationship when the economics make sense. That's the real story. Not that solar and EVs are the future. That was always likely. But that the future arrived in 2026 and Auckland's residential market is leading the charge. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next report.